We are back with another episode. And look, sorry, I know we don't have an intro today, but look, this is because we are collabing with Inside the Red Zone with our fellow friends, MJ and Mir. Look, these are two. This is another podcast that we are very supportive of, and they are very supportive of us. So it was only right that we get a collab episode and a joint episode. And hopefully, look, y'all start to see more of inside the locker room on the red or in the red zone. It's still coming. The name is still it's still meshing together. But how y'all guys doing, man? How y'all doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Doing
Doing great.
great, yo. It was disrespectfully cold outside today.
Yeah,
Agreed.
bro.
And you
Tell
talk
me
about
about
it's
it.
cold. You in a tank top, bro. What are you talking
I'm
about?
in the heat. I'm inside in heat.
Yo, thank goodness, man. Yo, Jersey weather don't play sometimes, but then solid weather. Green Bay this morning it was like -10. I was like, whoa.
And look, unfortunately for this joint episode, we don't have Michael with us today. But look, we got Adam back. Adam has been gone the last few weeks, but he is back on the show joining us today. And look, I know you got to come back to this show all happy and stuff. The Seahawks just went on a tear against y'all's division rivals. Y'all absolutely slaughtered them. Man, but we'll get to that in a sec. But the first kind of topic I want to talk about is, this Broncos Bills game. Man, Josh Allen, Josh Allen didn't win. He didn't get to Super Bowl, and you said this was the easiest year to get to. You had no Lamar, you had no Burrow, you had no Mahomes, and then after this loss, Sean McDermott just got fired. So it's a lot that's brewing with this game. But Ben, I want to start first with you. What were your thoughts about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I hit the nail on the head with McDermott getting fired if they would lose that game, and sure enough, he did get fired. So the Bills are going to be looking for a new head coach soon, and um, we had a few head coaches already find a few places, but there are still a lot of head coach vacancies still out there, and we'll get to that too. But as far as the Buffalo Bills, I thought James Cook still had a pretty good game, but obviously the story was the turnovers. I mean, I believe it was 5 of them, correct?
Correct.
So yeah, fumbles, interceptions. I mean, you name it, it happened. But I mean, even as as a Jets fan, as a AFC East watch every year, I mean, you got to feel at least a little bit for Josh Allen, and I thought the way the offensive line played that day was kind of crazy, but you know they left it all on the field. So and I thought the Broncos did too, of course. But unfortunately, and we'll get into this, of course, Bo Nix, out for the rest of the playoffs. So, I mean, Tamir, what did you think as, I guess the result of that? I mean, the Broncos won, but I mean, at what cost?
Man, Bo Nix going out for the rest of the playoffs just solidified the Patriots going to the bowl. Simply because the QB they got I don't even know his name.
Jared
Jared
Stidham.
Stidham,
Jared Stidham.
Yeah, I doubt he's been in the
former
game this week.
backup of Tom Brady, though.
Yeah.
You think Tom Brady taught him something? Me personally, the only QB I think Tom Brady taught was Jimmy Garoppolo, and he made a bowl run with the
Yeah.
Niners. So maybe Tom Brady's or it rubbed off on them. But the fact that Buffalo fired Sean McDermott, I think MJ called it out. If they didn't win, he was going to get fired. I think Josh Allen got him fired. What he had? How many picks he had?
I
Three,
think
two,
I
three,
think
three.
Wait, three
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 picks, but
It was
one
either
fumble.
two
one
picks
fumble,
and
yeah.
3 fumbles.
He had 2 picks and 1 fumble. I don't know, man. This is Josh
Yeah.
Allen. They left it all on the floor, all on the field. But Buffalo versus I said Buffalo. Broncos versus Patriots is going to be a very great game. But we all know the matchup. We all know the outcome of that matchup. It's going to be a Patriots W. What
Should
about
we
you,
lose?
MJ?
Adam can go. Adam can go.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I mean, it was back and forth. I had Broncos. I know quite a few people were just thought Josh Allen would pull it off, and end up advancing. I just thought that Broncos defense, they've shown up in quite a few games against really good teams already this year. And I mean, people can say what they want about Bo Nix, but his team did lead the NFL in drop passes this year. So, and you saw it again in the game also, where he made quite a few throws and still some drop passes, but they were able to win in the end. I mean, I will go to bat for Jared Stidham just a little bit. He's honestly probably one of the better backups in the league. I think with that Broncos defense, you could still pull it off, honestly. So I mean, we're gonna see if he can do it. I definitely have the Patriots still going to the bowl. That was my original prediction, was going to be Seahawks versus the Patriots. So we'll see if that still comes to fruition. But yeah, my heart goes out to the Broncos fans though, because you're so close and you got such a good defense. Then all of a sudden, you're down to Jared Stidham basically at QB.
Yeah, honestly, about even I'm gonna start with the whole Buffalo Bills game and the Broncos game. I'm gonna start off with that since we were talking about Josh Allen. I think honestly, in I've said this past week, starting from Monday going into Sunday, even though the game was on Saturday. I think we need to start holding Josh Allen to the Joe Burrow, the Lamar Jacksons over. I think we need to start holding him to that standard because this is the NFL's golden boy in which we're talking about. Josh Allen has been given multiple chances to prove himself in the playoffs. They even changed the overtime rule for this guy. They've done everything they possibly can to make sure that okay, Josh Allen is comfortable in the playoffs. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson weren't even in the playoffs. He beat them in the regular season, but in the offseason, they weren't there. They missed the playoffs. This and Josh Allen, and my firm believe that the Buffalo Bills felt how they felt was because they know this was it. This was the only time that they were actually going to make a solid Super Bowl run without having to do with Patrick Mahomes, without having to do with Joe Burrow, without having to do with Lamar Jackson. This was their only chance, and they knew it. That's why they were crying so hard. But back to Josh Allen, I think they need to, because you got a pity MVP. In my personal opinion, last year that MVP should have went to Lamar Jackson easily. Because if you're looking at stats, easily he just got the pity MVP just because he haven't won nothing. He really hasn't won anything since he's been in the league. That's just my personal opinion. But I think we need to hold Josh Allen to that standard because you threw 4 picks. Who in their right mind throws 4 picks and thinks they're going to win the game? Granted, that Bills defense played their behinds off. Shout out to them. But you're not going to throw the ball three different occasions and get picked off 3 of those different times. And I get you want to put the team on your back. I truly get it. You want to put the team on your back and you want to make a name for yourself in the moments like those. But when you fumble the ball in that moment, it just you just have to hold him accountable. Yeah, granted, we held him accountable, but we need to hold him to accountable to where if Joe Burrow were to do that, we're criticizing him gruesomely in the media. And if Lamar Jackson were to do that, they're having a field day with him. So I think we need to hold Josh Allen to that standard in which, okay, he threw 4 picks. How much of this was on him? In which, yeah, granted, like I said, he did take accountability.
Yeah.
But now I want to get into the Sean McDermott firing, which I called. Josh McDermott is a very special case because it just came out a few hours ago that he criticized specific parts of the Bills team in which they're not make a Bills team, and then few days later, after the divisional loss, gets fired. Coincidence? I don't think so. In my personal opinion, I just don't think so because okay, so you called out everything before the playoffs. What what? So what was your direction heading into the playoffs? That if you called out everything, if you called out everything before the playoff time, you had enough time to like fix on it and work on it. What was y'all doing during practice? What was you guys doing during rest days? What was y'all doing days leading into the playoff game against Denver? Because granted, we all know the AFC is very competitive right now, and we understand that the Jacksonville Jaguars, yeah, great season, 13-4. They were gonna give you a hard time regardless. But I had Buffalo winning, so it didn't really make any. It didn't really make a difference there. But against Denver, the number 1 seed, in which many people are still calling fraudulent, but they kind of proved me wrong after this weekend. That defense, the defense I've been was real, but Bo Nix on that game-winning drive against that Buffalo Bills defense that was holding them to a more defensive game in the first half, they ain't fraudulent in my book no more. So the Sean McDermott firing, it wasn't as shocking as I expected it to be. I thought it was gonna be like after the Super Bowl, we get into draft time. That's what I thought was gonna happen, but I didn't expect them to pull it off this early. Now to the Denver side, and this is my last. This is my last topic on this. This is my last topic on this. Jared Stidham, you have an opportunity a lifetime which not many quarterbacks have. When you think about Joe Montana, you think about Steve Young. When you think about Carson Wentz, you think about Nick Foles. You think about every position every quarterback has been in throughout the entire 100 and something years of the NFL. Are you going to be that quarterback that steps up or gets stepped over? Because in moments like this, Mr. Stidham, you put up or shut up. And you really haven't said anything all week, which props to you. Probably Sean Payton has kept you out of the media just because of this. He wants you to focus on the game. But this is the biggest game of your life. Either you go down swinging on Sunday, or you die trying. Simple as that. No ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah, the defense led by Patrick Surtain, PS2 can only do but so much. But you have to do your part. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got to do your part. 'Cause if the Broncos want to win on Sunday against this good Patriots team led by Mike Vrabel and Drake May, Jared Stidham needs to do his part. Whether it's be a system QB or make some plays down the line. Just do your job, Jared, and you can lead your team and lead Denver to their first Super Bowl in 10 years. That's all I got to say.
I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I'm gonna say this real quick about Josh Allen. I think now people got to start holding them to that same standard that they hold Dak Prescott when not advancing
See,
in the
I ain't want to
playoffs.
say nothing. I ain't want to say
So
nothing, but
I think yes, Dak Prescott hasn't made it to a conference championship, but in that same standard, Allen had the easiest path to the Super Bowl this year and didn't even make it. And I'm gonna say this though, really quick. I'm gonna give my props to Denver because honestly, I had the Broncos winning, but I thought that the offense would have, performed a little bit worse than they did during the game, and they actually performed better than I thought. So the fact that Buffalo, honestly, I think Buffalo got a win taken away from them. I honestly think they should have won that game. I give it to all the Buffalo fans. I think they should have won that game. So with that being said, Allen had the easiest road to the championship because I believe if you beat the Broncos, you're gonna beat the Patriots. I believe that the Bills
Oh,
beat the Patriots.
regardless.
I believe they beat the Patriots and go to Super Bowl. But now that just raises the question: what type of quarterback is Allen? In the same sense you hold Lamar that he can't make a Super Bowl, they got to start holding Allen to that same standard. Now that he hasn't made a Super Bowl with the easiest path to the playoffs, and yeah, you can say you can have all your opinions in it about, oh well, this happened and this happened, but no, in the easiest year to make it to the Super Bowl, he didn't make it, and I think that's just going to be a story for the next year. And honestly, you just have to hold Allen to that standard. If you're going to be an elite QB like Burrow and Mahomes, and you want to be held to that standard, you got to make it to Super Bowl. And I mean, honestly, that's just my takeaways. Allen should have made it to Super Bowl in his easiest year, but didn't. And I think that Sean McDermott firing, Ben, yeah, like Ben predicted it. You go to the playoffs this many years and you don't see any change, it's eventually going to come. It's just eventually going to come. And you kind of hate that that's the way that happens because McDermott is a very good coach, a very good coach. Really turned that whole Buffalo program around and started getting them back to the playoffs. But I mean, like John Harbaugh, when the time comes, the time comes. You got if you can't win a Super Bowl and get there, and you can have or Jim Harbaugh, my fault. If you can't get to a Super Bowl,
No, you were right. You were right.
No, yeah,
You
you
were
was
nailed
right.
right.
it, John
You
I
were
Harbaugh.
was right
right.
Yeah,
with John
I
Harbaugh.
was making
Okay.
a face for
yeah,
a reason, but not that
Okay.
reason. I was
Okay,
making a
yeah.
face for
So
a
John
reason.
Harbaugh, yeah. Just eventually when the time comes and you're just not seeing progress, it's just time to go. And I just hate how that is, but that's just what has to happen. But honestly, I think this is gonna be a backtrack for Allen with the new coach because you gotta learn a new system, you gotta learn a whole new game plan. The coach may bring in a whole new offensive scheme, a whole new offensive coaching staff. So honestly, I think this firing, although it should have happened, is gonna hurt the Bills. And honestly, for like next year, I just it's gonna take a little while. You got to get the right
Yeah.
coach. You got to get the right coach for Buffalo because I think McDermott was a perfect coach for Buffalo.
I agree with you, Deuce. I'm not even gonna lie. I really think it was Josh. I don't know. Maybe Josh got to go. I feel like what you done had everything you could ask for. You had the best running back in the league this year with James Cook. You done had when Stephon Diggs was there. He was probably the best receiver in the league until Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase took over. You got two very solid tight ends, very good O line. You never had O line problems. Always had a solid defense. What else could you want, Josh? It's you. You just can't make it. Maybe it might be Buffalo. Who knows? Maybe they're cursed. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they just can't do it. And I really think we gotta start looking at these superstar QBs, these untouchable QBs, as their reasons. Like I
That
saw
that's
some,
that's just my point. That's my point
I
right
saw
there.
some this morning saying they looking at Lamar going to Vegas, and I saw
Yo,
that, and I'm thinking, you know what?
yo,
Make that
That'd be
trade.
crazy.
Don't
That'd be
Vegas got the
crazy.
number one pick?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Go get Fernando. Maybe some changes.
that'd be crazy if that were to
That'd be
happen.
crazy, but I don't know. Maybe some of these superstar QBs gotta go, get traded. Maybe they gotta just fire sell the team. But like Baltimore and the Bills are in the same predicament right now. They don't know who their next coach is gonna be. They don't know the next scheme. They don't even know what's going on. And I gotta blame both their quarterbacks because like Lamar had chances too. I could blame Lamar a little less. He's never had a good wide receiver one. But at the end of the day, he's always had pretty good defenses set this year. So it's like he's had his chances. He's been in AFC championships multiple times.
Yeah,
So
he
I
could have
mean,
went a
that's gonna
couple
be
years ago.
But I want
that's
to
where
make
I'll
a point.
defend Josh Allen
Go
just
ahead.
just real quick. So where I'll defend Josh
Go ahead.
Allen just a little bit because like he didn't have that true alpha wide receiver one this year. He had Khalil Shakir, like what he had like 20 to 22 targets, and he was catching everything. But he's more of like a yards after catch guy. He's like a guy you find in the flat, like find on like little slant routes, and he collects all the yards after that. But if Keon Coleman, like I mean, it's on Josh Allen for sure with all the turnovers. But if you had a guy like Keon Coleman actually living up to his potential, we might be having like a very different conversation. So to just maybe the one positive that could happen is if they get a new coach and he's like a Liam Cohen, which I don't think there's one of those around, but you never know. Sometimes they just come out of the woodwork. Then maybe he can actually like draft a wide receiver one for Josh Allen. But their defense is always solid, but it's like also really flimsy at times. It's really inconsistent. And they always have guys injured too. But I mean, they should be playing better. So I mean, you can't use injuries as an excuse when the 49ers got all the way as far as they did with all the injuries they
Yeah.
had. So yeah,
I mean, Adam, you make a good point. He maybe the look in the, if I'm the Bills front office, look, maybe this offseason, if we're bringing in a new coaching staff, let's say, look, we got to build around, and help Allen get some more weapons, like really like invest into that wide receiver room. There's a
Mhm.
couple wide receivers you can go take out of free agency for cheap, and there's a few good wide receivers you can go take out the draft.
Some
For
nice ones
in
in the
the
draft.
yeah, for like even from the second to like the fourth round, there's some good receivers you can take there. Honestly, I just think right now with the coaching for next season is going to be the biggest question because how is that going to allow Allen to develop? And people are going to still be saying because Buffalo wants to win a Super Bowl. They're going to be saying if Allen's our franchise guy, he has to take us to a Super Bowl. What do we have to do to get Allen to a Super Bowl? That's pretty much my 2 cents on the Denver Buffalo game. But I mean, for the Denver side of things, um, seeing Bo Nix get hurt, I did not expect that. He looked
Yo,
perfectly fine to me. He
That
looked
was
perfectly
crazy.
fine.
He walked off
Yeah,
after that, but apparently he walked to his training staff. Was like, let's just take the knee into the game after he did that. So I don't know, but like you said,
I
that
mean,
backup QB has the chance of a lifetime right here.
He has a chance. And look, if he can make it to the Super Bowl and beat this Patriots team, honestly, my prediction is that he's going to be playing the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. That's going to be a very tough matchup. And look, you have a chance to write history because that Seahawks defense is a top 3 unit this year.
insane.
That offense is
Mhm.
well balanced. I mean, it's a nice system that Coach McDonald has in place. So I mean, I think if the Broncos can make it to Super Bowl, the quarterback Stidham has a nice chance to make history and a nice chance to get some attention to his name. But the next game I do want to talk about is this Niners Seahawks game. I mean, the Seahawks completely crushed the Niners. I
yo,
mean, kickoff, the first play of the game. It not
That
even
was
you don't even call that play.
Golly.
It was a
Yo,
kick
it was
return.
great. I don't know. I think I blame Jawan Jennings for this game. And let me tell you why. They beat Philly, and it was like, oh, who we play next? Seattle? They was talking. It was like,
Yes.
oh, we can't wait. They got to Seattle. I was trying to tell everybody. I know two people who had 49ers winning. I was like, the 12 get crazy in the playoffs. And we saw it. They got the best chance to win a bowl since for a long. They got their best chance to win a bowl in a long time since Legion of Boom,
Mm-hmm.
and they're
Now we
hyped.
got
They know it.
now we
Everybody
got
in
the
the
dark
state,
side.
the dark side. I still think Houston's defense name was better, but the dark side is a pretty cool defense name. They got one of the best defenses in the league. They got one of the best offensively coached offenses in the league right now. They're rolling, and now they gotta go face another division rival. I think Seattle's probably going to make the bowl. Both of my Super Bowl picks are probably going to be washed out. But it is what it is. Seattle whooped the 49ers. Straight domination. I turned the game off. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad, but yeah.
I think we all did.
Not me.
But
I was just so
shout out to San Francisco. Any other team with the amount of injuries they had would have went 7-10. They would have gave up, but they kept fighting. They made the playoffs. And I think that's that's representation. What's the word I'm trying? That's a representation of Kyle Shanahan and how great of a coach he is. He went through all of this.
Definitely.
He lost. He had Mac Jones throwing the ball for a couple of weeks. Brandon Ayuk is out there popping willies with a charger or something. He's not playing football. He's doing anything but football. He's like, where's Brandon Ayuk? I haven't heard of him since last year. George
Still
Kittle,
injured, apparently.
oh, he's still injured. He just doesn't want to hoop for them. George Kittle tore his ACL or Achilles in Philly. So you lost another one of your very limited weapons you had. And in CMC, my personal opinion, he gets comeback player of the year and offensive player of the year for me. He had a legendary season, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. Shout out to Kyle Shanahan and CNC and that 49ers offense for making it this far. I didn't have them making it this far. Nobody did. So shout out to them.
You want to go, MJ, or you want me to go?
I want to make 2 points to I want to elaborate to a point that you made earlier, Adam. How every coach is like shifting and rebuilding. Notice how your competition between we talk about Kansas City, Buffalo, and I don't mean to go off topic. Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore, they're all rebuilding. Notice how Eric Bieniemy just re-signed back with the Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all are releasing, but Kansas City's adding to their coaching staff after last season. Just saying. But about that San Fran and Seattle game, yeah, I remember when Doug Baldwin was getting the crowd hyped up. I was like, yeah, this game's over. This game's over. How Doug Baldwin and how influential. Now because we always talk about the Legion of Boom. Let's talk about the weapons that Russ had during that time frame. He had Marshawn in the backfield, obviously. Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett in his prime. Like you talk about all the weapons that influenced that offensive play style for Seattle and bring one of the key pieces back of that 2015 Super Bowl run against the Broncos. Like that does something to some fans, and it's about how you start and executing on all three sides of the ball. They executed special teams perfectly. That's how you start a game. You execute perfectly on offense. Kenneth Walker the third, 3 tutties. Like any other season, he's not doing that. He ain't doing that for nobody's fantasy. And then you got on defense, like you held Kyle Shanahan's offense to 6 points. No touchdowns, just two field goals.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that wants to win a Super Bowl. That's a team that's hungry. And the fact that they're doing it on home field against divisional rivals, that makes it so much sweeter for them. So in my personal opinion, I'm saying I think Seahawks will win it all. It's just gonna come down to Sam Darnold. It's just gonna come down to Sam Darnold, as we know, because Zach Charbonnet, he's out. He's out for the rest of the season because of that torn ACL. He's out. So realistically speaking, it's up to K9. It's up to Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's up to I think that's Barner. I think that's his last name.
AJ Barner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's going to be up to them in that defense to win one for Seattle. I think they can. I know they can. But when you don't have that 1-2 punch like Charbonnet, like he's like the second down for a second down back, then what can you do realistically speaking? You really can't do anything with that. So honestly, like I said, put the full screen on me. I got Seattle winning it all. No matter if it's the Denver Broncos or the Patriots they play in the Super Bowl, I got Seattle winning. I got Seattle winning Sunday, and I got Seattle winning February 8th. Give them two.
MJ, make sure you hold on that take because you
I
know when you said Trevor Lawrence was mid, Adam held on to that take for so long.
I was wrong.
I still want a public apology for that one, for Trevor Lawrence, honestly.
Yeah, MJ, you had your string of bad takes. Jalen Hurts is top 5?
I
Was
deleted
wrong about
that. I
that too.
deleted that. I
Yo, you
deleted that.
deleted that? Nah, we
And I
didn't.
deleted
We
Oh
that.
didn't
no.
forget
I
that.
deleted that. I deleted that. I deleted that. That doesn't happen, bro. That was like when they were 5-0. We were all on the early takes. We were all on our all. I will apologize about the Trevor Lawrence one. I'll apologize about the Trevor Lawrence one. That
Public
I
apology.
yeah, public apology. You know. I'll do it right
Okay.
now. I'll do it right
All right.
now. Dear Mr. Lawrence, you might not know me. My name is Marquise Pollins Jr. I just want to say that I apologize, publicly speaking, for downplaying your name. I'm sorry for playing with your name, sir. I'm truly sorry for playing with you. I didn't realize you was built like that. Shout out to Travis Etienne. Shout out to Travis Hunter. Shout out to Jacoby Myers. Shout out to all them boys. Shout out to Josh Allen Hines. He had my dad out with his parlay, in which that's a different topic. But hey, y'all, Liam Cohen, that's a real team. That's a
Liam
real
Cohn's
team.
steering that ship. Yep.
Yo, 13-4 in your first season. That's a real leader of men right there. That's a real leader of men.
No,
But
for
I'm
sure.
not. I am not apologizing about. I'm not going to apologize to Jalen Hurts. I refuse. I'll apologize to y'all, but I'm not apologizing. No, he can kiss my butt. Jalen Hurts can kiss my butt. That's for all I care. I don't care. I don't.
Adam,
Dude.
but what are your thoughts on this Seahawks Niners game? Because look, you told me from the start that this team has the possibility to go to the Super Bowl. I actually remember on the draft day, you told me, oh, with these signings, if they panned out correctly, this team is all around built to contend for a Super Bowl. And look, y'all are one game away from Super Bowl. And honestly, I think it's in y'all stadium and how we saw y'all face the Niners. And yes, you can say the Rams are a little bit more healthier, but just watch how that Seahawks defense played against the Niners. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
got to pretty. I think honestly, I just think the Seahawks defense can beat the Rams themselves. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, going into the preseason and into the season, like you said, I was really high on my Seahawks. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but just trying to look at it from an unbiased perspective. I mean, I had them at 13 wins. They even surpassed that, getting to 14 wins. So I mean, they were rise above my expectations, above anyone's. But just a couple stats, as MJ and you guys all said, only gave up 6 points to the 49ers in the last game. They only gave up 3 points to the 49ers in that week 17 crucial matchup to determine the number one seed as well. In fact, the Seahawks have not given up a touchdown since the OT to the Rams, I think, in week 15. So it's insane what they're doing. They're basically deploying like 5 to 6 DBs on a given snap. They're only rushing 4, and then they have 3 guys right behind the line that are just like literally picking up anyone, and then they have guys like all around the circle. It's a crazy formation, but it's working because everyone just flies to the football. Nick Worry, who is like another guy I really wanted the Seahawks to get. I thought he'd be a round 1 pick. So the fact that they were able to use I think they used the Geno Smith 3rd rounder to move up in the second to get him. Then they were able to get Gray Zabel in the first, which completely turned around the offensive line overnight. I mean, you could give kudos to anyone. Like Ernest Jones is the only player in the NFL with 5 interceptions and 100 tackles. Also doesn't hurt that he was an ex-Ram, so I love that he gets to play against his former team again. I mean, JSN. I mean, he's my lock for player of the year, for offensive player of the year. But you could easily give it to Puka Nacua. CMC is deserving as well. But I mean, the Seahawks are playing at an incredible level. I hope they can sustain it again. We got Rams winning the first matchup. Seahawks won the second one, so we're gonna get the tie-breaking matchup. I know a lot of people got the Rams going to the bowl. I'm got to stick with my gut with the Seahawks, but yeah, we're gonna see what happens. That defense is playing like otherworldly. Like I was just watching the last game against the 49ers. It reminded me so much of that Denver Broncos Super Bowl, the way they're flying to the football, the way that they just no one could get anything, not even like a few yards. You knew a guy was going to fly across the field and take him out there, getting turnovers as well. So yeah, I'm incredibly excited for the matchup this week, and hopefully they can get back to the Super Bowl. I will say Charbonnet's a big loss because he's really good in the red zone, but Kenneth Walker, K9, proved that he can step up whenever he needs to. They basically just deploy them 50-50 just so they can both stay healthy all the time. But Kenneth Walker's like, if he got all the carries, he'd be a top 12 running back in this league, I'm sure, if not better. Like, I'm glad that everyone could see it on full display this past week. But
Yeah,
any thoughts, Suze?
and also look, because I pretty much said what I said, but not to. I'm in all this. Look, if you haven't been tuning into our weekly pickums, make sure you've been tuning into our pickums. I know MJ has been featured on like the last 3. So if you've been like tuning into our pick'ems, just tune into them, and you don't want to miss that. I would say this, Adam. You called it. You called it. And I mean, people were switching their games like their picks the last minute because they said, "Oh, Darnold has been questionable with the injury." And I mean, look, some people were just changing their picks at the last minute, and you stay true to it, And Darnold, look, that is a big loss for the Seahawks, but unfortunately, he did. Not unfortunately, but he did play, so that wasn't the Seahawks' favor. But even I believe, even without Darnold, the Seahawks would have still won. I just feel like the Seahawks are just all around like they're built like all around and the system works with each player. Like you know how the Rams looked a few years ago when they went to Super Bowl. That just reminds me of this year's Seahawks team. Like everything is
Mhm.
clicking, everything is working in their favor. I really don't like I said, I don't have any complaints. And I think that like I said before, I think the Seahawks defense can come in alone and just win against the Rams. Um, what else? That's pretty much it. But on to the next game. Um, Stroud and the Texans are out the playoffs, and I mean, Stroud had he
He
put
wanted
up
to go to Cancun. Let's just say that he wanted to go to
yeah his
Cancun.
playoff
He saw a few
his,
ghosts.
his playoff resume this offseason. I mean, this playoffs was bad. I mean, what is it like 7 picks and like 7 fumbles and like it's something like that. I know it's a stat that it doesn't go in his favor, and I told people this before. I said the Texans will win if CJ Stroud just does at least enough for the defense to help them
Mhm.
win the game. CJ Stroud didn't even do enough. I'm not even just trying to say CJ Stroud, but the whole Texans offense in general, and mainly CJ Stroud, didn't do enough for that defense to win the game. That's
All
pretty
he had to
much it.
do was what Sam Darnold did. Sam Darnold threw
Mhm.
for 125 yards, didn't really
Don't
turn over the football, let the
And you
running
would have
game
had a
work,
free,
let
and
the
you would have had a
defense work.
ticket, and you would have had a ticket to the AFC Championship because I best believe that you could have beat the Patriots team from the beginning of the game. That Patriots team looked like they could be beaten, and then as the game went on, and the offense started turning the ball more, you just saw that Patriots offense get more fire, and they just started stepping on the Texans, and the Texans cannot catch back up. Honestly, if Stroud just did enough, he would have had a free ticket to the. Because honestly, whoever goes to Super Bowl, and I'm not trying to say like no, like nothing to the Broncos, but I just believe right now, without Bo Nix, the Broncos are in serious trouble. To contend and compete for a Super Bowl. As to a team compared to the Texans, although the offense hasn't been the best, CJ Stroud, their offense can come to play some games to do enough for the defense to win. And then the Bills, y'all get the picture. But I'm basically saying if the Texans win this game, they have basically a an easy path to the Super Bowl, just like the Bills, and they blew it. They blew it. Stroud and the offense blew it. I don't say look at head coaching because honestly, what D'Amico Ryan has did to that defense, he has turned that defense into a powerhouse, and you can arguably say that is a top 10 defense of all time. So look, I don't think D'Amico Ryan is on the hot seat, but I think that offense needs serious revamping, and that offensive play calling, offensive coordinator, it needs serious revamping.
Yeah. So we're not blaming the whole offense. We're blaming one man, and that's CJ Stroud. He was out there drunk, high. I don't know what he was, but he wasn't sober. After the first two bag picks, I would have been like, all right, let me look in the mirror. What am I doing wrong? No, he said I had to double it and threw two more picks. You enter off the game with 4 picks. Time out. It wasn't in total. It was in the first half. And then,
Oh my
like
god.
like Deuce said, that Houston Texans defense is probably top 10 all time, arguably. You want to know why? If any other team threw 4 picks in the first half, it would have been 45-0. They kept it close the whole game until the very end until Kayshawn Booty caught that one-handed catch. It was a close. They could have won
Heck of a catch.
until he caught that catch. That was a great catch. Once he caught
Imagine
it, game was over. But had he
Imagine the
not caught,
Texans defense with the Cowboys offense.
everybody been saying that.
Yeah,
That probably would
that'd
be
be
one of the
crazy.
top 10 teams of all time. The Cowboys offense we had this year with the Texans defense, we probably would have went undefeated. If we really want to be honest, we probably would have undefeated because as we saw in the Steelers game, the Texans defense could generate offense for themselves. If their offense is not doing it, they'll do it themselves. Unfortunately, today they couldn't get it done. Or not today. The Patriots game, they couldn't get it done. But at the end of the day, you can't blame nobody else but CJ Stroud. And I hate how quarterbacks get up there like, oh, I disappointed everybody. Yeah, you know, buddy. Yeah, you know. Don't even say it. Just take that on the chin. You stunk it up in the great state of Boston. In one of the first 13 colonies, you threw 4 picks. George Washington would be very disappointed in you. You, sir, had one of the worst games. I'm watching this game. I had to go to work. I'm watching this game like, bro, what? Is he drunk? I'm over here in my group chat like, nah, he's not a bad QB. Once he threw that third pick, I was like, yeah, I can't even defend you no more, buddy. You stink.
He
You
sold
are
my
a
pick.
I had them going to the bowl strictly off of their defense. It had CJ Stroud not been drunk or laced or wherever he was that game, they probably could have won because the defense was locking them down. They threw a pick six, and it was the floodgates was open. I don't even think they scored an offensive touchdown to the fourth. I know they started off with an offensive touchdown, and then they score another one to the fourth quarter, right?
So, yeah, I think that's right.
That's their defense. They kept them in the game. All he had to do, all he had to do was not throw 4 picks. I guess that's too hard. He had in the last 5 quarters of the season, he had 5 fumbles and 5 picks. You can't win games with that. I mean, you can't win multiple games with that because they won the Steelers game, but everybody had them winning that Steelers game. That's how I feel about that situation. I think we might need to look at CJ Stroud. Great rookie season, downhill. I don't
Bryce
know
Young
what's
has
good.
honestly performed better than him since the rookie season, and it's
I
crazy.
don't know what's going on anymore.
Maybe the
My
Panthers
thing,
took the right decision.
maybe the Panthers knew something we didn't. My thing is this. I'm really looking at the O-line. You can't do nothing with that offensive line outside of Laramie Tunsil. They probably got one of the worst O-lines in the league. So if I'm the Texans this year, Nico Collins going to come back. And it's a little confusing how Nico and Christian Gonzalez, they might not say it, but Christian Gonzalez definitely had concussion that last game they played. If you saw when he went down, somebody had landed on him and he got up wobbling. He was super concussed, but they let him play. I feel like Nico should have played, but you know what I mean? I'm not no NFL trainer. I'm not going to say anything. That's a little weird. But when Nico Collins coming back, Christian Kirk apparently has been that guy all along. He just needed a chance. I think the Texans would be fine with just the O-line. They got Dalton Schultz at top 10, maybe top 5 tight end in the league.
And they got 2 young rookie receivers, Higgins and Noel too, right?
Yeah.
Jaden Higgins.
We can't really count Tank Dell no more.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. People say he'll be back, but I don't know. He had a brutal injury. I don't know how he'll come back from that. But I think the Texans will be fine. If they keep that core defense there, they keep the fantastic four with their 4 DBs, Kamani Lassiter, Darius Stingley, and Jalen Preacher. I forgot number 2's name. I can't remember his name right now. You keep Aziz Al-Shaair. You obviously keep Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter.
I thought you're talking about Will Anderson, maybe. Yeah. Kamari Lassiter, is that number 2?
Nah, he number 4.
Okay.
And Darius Stingley 22. And Jalen Preacher's number 5. Yeah, if you keep all those guys there somehow, some way, you have no choice but to come back.
Adam, you got any thoughts on this game?
Oh, I forgot I hadn't gone, honestly. Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much summed it up already. CJ Stroud saw a bunch of ghosts. Defense kept him in it, but I mean, Kayshon Boutte, that was probably the highlight of the game. Crazy one-handed catch. I'm pretty sure Stingley was covering him as well. He's just that special deep receiver. Can get all those contested catches and everything. Pop Douglas finally showed up, got that first touchdown, got him on the board. But yeah, I mean, I think the Patriots probably would have lost if you had a healthy Nico Collins, but you never know because those turnovers still could have happened. But CJ Stroud's definitely a different player when Nico Collins is on the field.
Dalton Schultz getting injured first quarter did kill it too, though.
Forgot about that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Dalton Schultz has been balling out this year. Help me win a fantasy championship, honestly.
Must be nice.
From a fellow former fantasy championship owner myself, congratulations, Adam. Congratulations, sir.
Ben snatched that from me. And he snatched that. 0.3. Wasn't a blowout. He won by 0.3. Puka Nacua caught that ball. I would die on that hill. But that's neither here nor there. We're getting off topic.
You're not letting it go. You're not letting it go for a long time. But I will say about this Patriots and Texans game, honestly, because I'm at work, I'm keeping up with the score, and number 2 y'all were referring to was Caleb Bullock. That's who y'all are referring to from the Houston Texans defense.
Dang it, I almost said Bullock.
But I will say this about the game. I was keeping up with the score. I was at work. Because I'm looking at the score. Because I'm expecting the Patriots to break out a lead. I'm expecting because I'm expecting CJ Stroud to have one of those games. Especially because him without Nico Collins, it's not a cohesive. It's not a cohesive. It's not a cohesive mindset when he's not on the field with Nico Collins. Yeah, Dalton Schultz was there for a little bit part of the game, but then he got injured. Can't really do nothing about that. But my also want to take into consideration is, and what you Adam, I think you put it, or you or Tamir put it out earlier, that they didn't use the running game. They didn't run with Woody Marks. They didn't progressively use the running game to their advantage like they did against Pittsburgh. Because Woody Marks had over 100 yards against Pittsburgh, and their defense is not bad. They're not dog water, but they're not bad. So the fact that what you could have capitalized in the play calling sheet for this past week, you could have capitalized. Okay, Woody Marks coming off of a career game in the playoffs. All right, bet. Let's use that to their advantage. I didn't really see that in the stat sheet when it came to Woody Marks and his rushing yards. I didn't see that. So in my personal opinion, I think they wanted to put the ball in C.J. Stroud's drunk behind hands and just have him throw the ball and try to figure out if, okay, let's see what we can do with the receivers we have on hand. And when Dalton Schultz went down, that didn't work out either. Now on the Patriots side, the Patriots could have easily lost this game. They could have easily lost this game in the first half. Drake May was not playing Drake May level. He wasn't. And I'm not saying it's because of like the Chargers game. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he wasn't playing like comfortable. He wasn't he wasn't set in the pocket when he started passing, in my personal opinion, from what I saw. He just wasn't set. And then when the third and fourth quarter, you see him get more comfortable. You see him trust his receivers more. For example, that Keyshawn Booty catch. So, in my personal opinion, I think that Drake May, I think that the first half of the Denver game against New England, in my personal opinion, I think it's gonna be closely knitted, but I think they're gonna pull away in the second half, and obviously, in my personal opinion, the Patriots are gonna win. So, yeah.
Me personally, let me say this. Patriots, I see them going to Super Bowl, but if the Broncos do go to Super Bowl, hey, you can quote me on this. I was wrong.
Yeah, we're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Don't crucify
I
us.
was
You're
wrong. Both of my Super Bowl picks looked cooked. I had the Texans in Denver. Denver's still in it. CJ Stroud personally saw the video and said, "Nah, I don't like this guy. Kick him off the show." So we're gonna have to.
I wonder what happened to CJ Stroud, man. I wonder what happened, and you can say the injuries, but what the Panthers did, it
He
just
was
crazy.
drunk.
We were so quick to jump the gun. And, I mean, a lot of people are so quick to jump the gun and just say Bryce Young is a bust. But look, the Panthers are slowly building it. Look, honestly, next year the Panthers, I believe they won't have no 8-9 record. They're going to be. I still think they're going to be competing for the top of the division because the NFC South is incredibly mid for some reason, and for some reason, all the teams will have like the same record. But I think it's going to be like the same thing next year. But they're probably going to have a couple more wins, probably like 9 or 10 more
10 and
wins.
7. I'm thinking
and
10 and 7, 11 and 6.
Yeah,
And that's
10
what I'm
and
saying,
7.
that
I think
area.
so.
And I think
Let's
the
look at
Bucks.
the schedule. Let's look at the
I think
schedule before
the
we
Bucks will be
before
back.
we say anything.
But I mean, it's too
Fair
much.
point.
We still got to see the offense and stuff. But just
Exactly.
off of this season alone, I think next year stuff will be back up.
Got their stud wide receiver 1 in Ted, that's for sure.
Yo.
Now all they
Baller.
need is a receiver too. But Xavier
Jalen Coker's
Leggett.
nice though too. Jalen Coker's good.
Xavier, we thought it was gonna get Xavier
and look
Leggett.
he can emerge.
Don't start.
He can
The Cowboy
emerge, but I
man.
mean, he's a reliable receiver. He's a reliable rotational receiver in that thing. He can still emerge as a top receiver. You got to just give him
Yeah,
time.
he's not a bad wide receiver 3.
He's
like
not.
they
He's
did
not.
with Bryce Young. It took him some time to develop. Get some time to develop, and look, maybe he'll break out to a wide receiver 2 that could be behind Ted. You never
He's
know.
had some really nice games. He's just really inconsistent game
But
to
if he
game.
gets to maybe they change the wide receiver coach for or add another wide receiver coach onto the staff that can help somebody like Xavier
Bring in
Leggett.
Adam Thielen after he retires.
Man.
I'm not going for this I'm not falling for this propaganda. He's grabber. This man Xavier Leggett only worries about squirrels and horses. He's not a good receiver.
Gonna mention
He's
the squirrels.
He's not a good receiver. I'm not falling for it. I did he barely talk English. I'm not going for it. He's not a good receiver. Jimmy Horn took his job. He snatched his chain. Even though Jimmy Horn dropped that pass in that last game, rookie in a big moment, you can't expect much.
But basically the point is though, the Panthers, they have young receivers though, still in that wide receiver rotational room that can still, still blossom and develop. I still think Jimmy Horn is still yet to break out. I mean, I
Yeah,
think that drop
yeah,
is
he's
going to
got
motivate
potential.
him. He looks like he's going to be that. He looks like he can be that stud slot receiver. And like you said, Jalen Croker, yeah, show potential all season, flashes left and right. So I mean, the Panthers, I think they're just poised for success on the offensive side, and they've built around Bryce Young properly. And you got to give
They
credit to that
have.
front office.
Yeah,
I
with
will
Jalen
say
Coker, you can
this.
have that big slot, and then with Jimmy Horn, you can have that really small slot. Sorry, that's all I was gonna say.
I will say this, Tamir. I think they make valid points. I think we should give him grace because this was his second season. This was his second season. So sophomore year, okay. Let's see what happens junior year.
This was Keon
So,
Coleman's second season.
dog, we ain't gonna
Yeah,
get
we gonna
into
move
that.
on. We
We
gonna
ain't
move on.
gonna.
I'm gonna give him grace. I'm gonna give both of them grace.
Please
But
give him grace.
like Cam said, it's time to do
Give
your
him
job.
grace. It's
You're supposed to
time.
be our number one.
Now you're looking like a bum.
Yeah, we gotta give him grace.
Give him grace. Give him grace. Well, if it doesn't have, because that's the thing though. What the Panthers are due for a breakout. The Panthers, like I don't know if it's just me. I generally don't know if it's just me, but I feel as though they just need that one thing. Whether I don't know if it was the divisional win they had, but I feel as though they need just that one more spark that'll get them to that. Okay, we here, we're contenders, we're good. I don't know what it is.
I think that
But I
spark
might.
comes from the tight end position. I think they pick up a great tight end in this draft, and it really expands that offense. You got another vertical threat, and you got a explosive blocker, like a blocker that could pull this, that, and third. You get the right tight end, you can find a safety valve for Bryce Young, and they got to get Rico the ball more. Simple as that.
That
When
was
Rico
it.
was
Okay,
getting the
that was
ball,
it.
they was super. That offense was great when Rico was getting the ball. They got to get the Rico the ball more, and I think they one great tight end away from us looking like, oh, like how we're looking at Chicago now, like how we was looking at Chicago now. Peep how they picked up a tight end in this draft, and it is shot up. Obviously Ben Johnson is just that guy at coach apparently, but a tight end can really do that. I think tight ends. You remember how we was looking at the running back position a couple years ago, like, oh, it's going to stink. It's going to stink. I think we're looking at tight. We're looking at tight ends like that now. Like, oh, they're there, but it's like if you got one, you got one. If you don't, you'll be all right. Teams with great tight ends like the Cowboys, Atlanta. It's another one. I guess you could say Buffalo. They got two good tight ends.
Tyler
You
Warren.
could even say Cleveland with Harold Fanning starting to break out too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
New England, they got Hunter Herring, and then
Hunter Henry's
sometimes
still really good.
Austin Hopper, he'll break out for a 20-yard catch. You're like, hold on, who this? You know what I
Are,
mean?
are we
He was good
forgetting
back in those Matt
about
Ryan days on the Falcons.
talk about it? Talk about it. Talk about it. Matt, that was my Madden team 26. That was my Madden 16 team right
Austin
there.
Hooper, Matt
What?
Ryan.
Man, what? Post route on a 3rd and 5? Easy. Easy,
Yep.
Austin Hooper, easy. But are we forgetting about George Kittle? Are we forgetting about oh my gosh, Brock Bowers? Are we
We definitely. I forgot about them. I'm not even gonna lie.
Sam Laporta, if he was
It's
healthy,
a lot of
also
great tight
is
ends in the
another
league,
one.
but you see how their offenses, well, except for Brock Bowers, but you see how their offenses are pretty good. All the tight ends we said, like I'm just saying, it's a constant thing. If you got a great tight end or a good tight end, you have a good offense or a great offense. That's how I feel about the Panthers. They had a great game. I don't even know how we got to the Panthers. I'm gonna keep it buck. Let's go ahead and move on to the next division
Oh yeah,
again.
but look,
I gotta get out of here, guys. I gotta go check on my dog, unfortunately. But you guys have a good rest of the episode.
All right,
chat
peace, bro.
Seattle. But for our next game, we did have the Bears and the Rams. Look, I had the Bears winning. I don't know why. I saw a stat. Ben pointed
I,
out a stat to me that literally said Stafford was like 1-7, and
1-9 in cold games. Yeah, I
at
noticed
one
that.
and nine in cold games. I said, look, Caleb Williams, they've been rolling hot the last weeks. They rolled hot coming into the playoffs. It's I think the favorite they had everything. I think the Rams had everything against them in this game, and they still came and beat Chicago. And the Rams are just a pretty good team. They held Chicago's offense, and they were able to move the ball through the run game and through the air. So I mean, this Rams team definitely did show why they're a team to compete. And I mean, you can only for the Bears side of things, I wouldn't really look at it as like, oh, this is too much of a negative. look, just take it as like, hey, we beat the Packers in the playoffs for once. We got to the divisional round. We had our best season that we've had in many years. We found our quarterback, Caleb Williams, is finally starting to break out. Our offense is starting to break out. Our defensive players are starting to break out. Look, we just continue to add on to it. And next season, we're poised for success. And all we have to really worry about, I mean, still, you got to worry about the Packers again. And who knows if the Lions are going to still be good, next year, because we saw how they were this year without their two main coordinators. So, I mean, people are going to have their opinions about the Lions, but if I'm the Bears, the team I'm worried about the most is the Packers because they're getting a healthy Micah Parsons back next year. And you know that defense is a top 5 defense in the league when Micah Parsons is healthy.
One thing I want to say is shout out to Caleb Williams once again. A great game,
Yo.
but
One
right
of the best
now,
throws I've ever seen, too.
oh no, that was super. I was at work. I was able to see the throw. I was that was crazy. One of the best throws I ever seen. Caleb Williams has like that factor when it comes down to it. When you think they're out of it, something's just gonna happen. They're back in it. They got it's the Patrick Mahomes factor, that Aaron Rodgers factor. It's just I don't know what you want to call it. It's the X factor. But when you think it's out of it, something's gonna happen. It's gonna be a block field goal. It's gonna be a block punt. They're gonna punt it. They're gonna turn it over on down. Something stupid. And Caleb Williams is gonna be able to roll down the field and do what he needs to do. The pick in overtime. I don't know how I feel about it. He's young, so he might have made a bad decision. But at the end of the day, it could have been miscommunication. He still had a legendary game, and it seems like Chicago found their guy. I just wish how Carolina built around Bryce Young. I wish they did that for Justin Fields. Had they done what they did with Bryce Young for Justin Fields, Caleb Williams probably wouldn't be on Chicago. We probably would have been looking. Chicago probably would have been a playoff team years ago had they built around Justin Fields, but they didn't. So
I
they
still
just
don't like.
wait.
I still hate that they did Justin Fields wrong. I
They
still hate
did
that they
Justin
did.
Fields super wrong. He's
So
just
wrong.
his whole career is just bad situations time and time again. And I still think him and Jalen Hurts are on the same level. Maybe Justin Hurts is better. I said Justin Hurts. Justin Fields is better. But at the end of the day, Caleb Williams had a great game. But you know what really shocked me? How the Rams offense looked so sluggish.
It was that
Their
weather.
offense, maybe it was the weather, but
It was that weather.
Puka was in purgatory. They didn't get Devontae the ball to the third quarter. It was bad. Kyron Williams had to step up a lot. What I mean? Blake Corum, they had to rely on their run game a lot, so it might have made the offense one dimensional. But they're going to Seattle. Hopefully it's a good weather. Well, it's going to be cold, but hopefully it's not going to be raining or snowing or anything like that. And then we can have another shootout like we had in Week 15 when Matt Stafford put up almost 500 yards. Puka had 200 yards. A game like that would be great. I don't want to see another blowout. I hopefully get another good playoff game with the Seattle and Rams game. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Shout out Caleb Williams played his heart out. He did have 2 picks, but he played his heart out. You can't say nothing else about Caleb Williams. He proved the haters wrong. Everybody was looking at him like, is he a bust coming into the season? He came in, showed him that he's not a bust. All he needed was the right coach. Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams is going to be here to stay. God forbid any bad injuries or anything. They're going to be here to stay. So we're going to be looking at Chicago. If they pick up the right players this year, I think, they don't need another offensive weapon. They need a defensive weapon. So if they get the right defensive player, it's going to get real scary. 2-3 years, we're gonna see Chicago in the bowl if they get the right guy in the draft this year.
Because you're right, and you're definitely right. And Tamir, I want to go back to what I said on the previous episode. Did I not say that this is going to be a coming out party for a lot of QBs?
He said that like 3 episodes ago. He said it for Bryce Young and Bryce Young, Jordan Love, and Caleb Williams, and they all had great games.
I told you, like, this was going to be and Trevor Lawrence, I said this was going to be a coming out party for a lot of QBs this playoffs, and Caleb Williams just ended up proving my point. When I tell you right now, I'm proud of Caleb Williams. I'm not even saying this I'm as a Cowboys fan, I'm saying this about another QB. Think about all the criticism this dude faced heading into the draft, even losing didn't even making the college football playoffs going into the draft. People were criticizing him. Oh, he's crying to his mom. Oh, he paints his nails. Dude faced all the criticism in the world as a first round QB. He took all the criticism, took every single last one of it, and in his second season made arguably one of the biggest throws in playoff history to send his team into overtime. Think about that. All the criticism you face going to the NFL draft, and the season you had last year, where you were just making impulsive decisions. The game wasn't slowing down to him, as Chris Collinsworth mentioned on the broadcast of the game. The game wasn't slowing down for him as it is now. You see him not making those impulsive throws. You see him not throwing interceptions after interception after interception. You see him not getting phased in the pocket. You see him being cool under pressure. You see on that 3rd and 8. He runs to try to get a first round. Does what he's trying to do. Okay, don't get the first round. All right, let's go for a 4th. On to the next play. You notice how his brain is developing as a leader, as a QB, whereas he's not focusing on, oh my god, I made an interception, overthinking it. He's not focused on that. He's like, all right, I made an interception. What can I do to improve on that? And Ben Johnson, as the offensive mind he is helping him do that. In which I'm so proud of Caleb Williams for doing that and handling even though they lost, keep your head up high, brother. Keep your head held up high. There is nothing to be ashamed of from that loss against a good Los Angeles Rams team. Nothing to be ashamed of, man. Nothing. But as far as that Los Angeles Rams, it's Sean McVay at the end of the day.
Oh yeah,
It's Sean McVay at the end of the day. He's a first ballot coach Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You've seen the people that he's coached, that he has coached. He's coached Aaron Donald. He's coached Cooper Kupp. And which I will say this. Cooper Kupp over 50 yards on Sunday. Book it. Against his former team on top of that. I will give Sean McVay his due. Matthew Stafford did not look like himself in that. Hey, cool. Hey, don't be shocked when it happens. Don't be shocked when it happens.
don't do that. Do not do that.
Hey, book it. I'm telling you.
He's saying don't do that to yourself, man.
I'm sorry. I promise you, don't do that. Do not do that.
Cooper Kupp had around 46 yards against the 49ers on Saturday night. I'm just saying. I might hold up. I might be wrong about that. I'm double check that. Cooper Kupp.
But back to Sean McVay, he's a great coach, and if the Rams do make it to the Super Bowl, it's just going to be strictly off Sean McVay's coaching experience and how he's been in this game multiple times, 3 times if we're not mistaken. 2018, 2022, or one when they made it with Aaron Donald when he had that sack, and then now in a couple of days, if Seattle lost this game, it would just be off straight coaching. Sean McVay, he just has the experience, but I think Seattle's still going to win just based off how crazy that defense is. Matt Stafford has picked his defense apart before. We have seen it before, happen before.
Divisional game.
It's a divisional game. It's going to get crazy. It got crazy in versus when it was playing the Niners, just not in a good way. A blowout. Maybe, hope it's probably not going to be a blowout this game, just based because the Rams are healthy. I think the defense is better currently, based off health wise. If we talk both healthy, Niners obviously got a better defense with Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, all them guys. But right now, the Rams have a better defense, so it's going to be a little more of a challenge for Kenneth Walker to get going. They got Cam Curl, they got Jared Verse, they obviously got that D-line that's rolling. They're all doing their part on that D-line. There's no real star there outside of Verse, but they're all doing a very good part on that D-line. They got solid corners. Emmanuel Forbes, resurgent year. Everybody was out counting him out. He came to LA and had a great year. So maybe he could. He's definitely not stopping JSN. Let's not even gonna start that. But you know what I mean. Hopefully he could slow down Cooper Kupp and make the Seattle defense one dimensional. And I feel like it's gonna be a good game. But I still got Seattle winning straight.
Hey, Cooper Kupp at 60 yards. Cooper Kupp at 60 yards.
Chat, do what you want with that information.
I'm just saying, over 50.
I just know
over 50.
Over 50. I just know I'm not doing that. But yeah,
if he gets over 50, I'm texting you.
All right, but yeah, and then and for Denver and Patriots, we obviously got to go with the Patriots. It's a cop out answer, but at the end of the day, we haven't seen this Denver QB play since what? I don't even know. I don't think I ever seen him play preseason. Like. And he's getting thrown in probably the biggest game of his life. So it's just like, I don't know. We got Seattle and we got Seattle versus the Patriots again, which is crazy. It's gonna be that wasn't 2016. That was 2015. That was 2015.
I was wrong. I want to say that I was wrong earlier. The Super Bowl 48 one, that was 2014. Super Bowl 49, that was 2015.
Yeah. So It's going to be a great Super Bowl matchup. But as you know, as fans of teams that didn't make it to the playoffs, we only got one thing to look forward to is the draft. But John Harbaugh, ladies and gentlemen, did just touch down in the MetLife Stadium. He saw his office, and I got a take. And it's gonna be crazy from a Cowboys fan. The Giants, if everything go to accordingly, they're gonna be very dangerous in about 2 to 3 years, four at most. We saw how John Harbaugh developed Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar and Jackson Dart got a similar skill set. They're both mobile quarterbacks. They both not scared to let that thing fly. They both not scared to run. Jackson Dart just know how to slide. But once he gets that down pack, he's gonna be healthy the whole season. All you need is you got the weapons. Malik Neighbors is great. Wanda Weberson is great. Cam Scottaboo is great. Tyrone Tracy also great. He had 1,000 yards from scrimmage this year. I watched him get the 1,000th yard live in person. That was a pretty cool moment. Crowd cheered for him. They have the weapons on defense, as we know. You got that scary defensive line on paper. Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and I feel like I'm forgetting another one. But they got a scary D line, and in total, I think the Giants could be scary if Jackson Dart develops right under John Harbaugh. They get a good offensive coordinator, a great offense, a great. I think they clear house under John Harbaugh, let him hire his own people, and the Giants they're going to be beating us in a couple of years. Let's just be realistically. With our full team and their full team, in a couple of years, if everything goes right, they're going to be beating us, and it's just that's just how it is. But they got to draft right, and they got to pick up key guys. That's just how I feel about it. What
I'm,
you
I'm gonna
think,
say
Deuce?
I'm gonna say this. One, to pick it back up off the what you call it, the picks. Yeah, I got the Seahawks basically going. They basically just I really think we got enough sample size against that game against the Rams. I'm not the Rams, 49ers. And I'm just like how they played against them during the last in the for the battle for the first place in Seattle's own home. I'm not Seattle. I'm thinking of the 49ers right now. How they played the Rams early in the year. I just think that's going to it only benefits the Seahawks that they're at the 12th man stadium. And for the what you call it for the Patriots side of things, the Patriots, if I'm gonna say this, if though, because you never know. Jared Stidham could come in and play the system perfectly, and
Pull a
somehow
Nick Foles.
take the Broncos to the Super Bowl. But if I'm the Patriots, everything everything that I've did all season, bro, this game is the most important all year because this is gonna really, I'm not gonna say make or break, but it's gonna start to put like titles on players. This Patriots team went, this way, and they couldn't beat a backup quarterback. That's what's gonna be the label if they don't make it to Super Bowl. Or this is what happened. They couldn't get it past injured Broncos team. If I'm the Patriots, I don't want that to happen. So I'm playing lights out. I don't care that the Broncos got a backup quarterback. Your game playing like that was Bo Nix. Um, but yeah, I have the Patriots and the Seahawks a Super Bowl rematch. Unfortunately, I do have the Seahawks winning. Like I said before, I feel like the Patriots just had too of an easy schedule all year, and compared to like a team like the Seahawks who played the NFC West played those other teams 6 times, and they had to play teams in the NFC. So honestly, I got if the Seahawks and the Patriots do go, I got the what you call it, the Seahawks winning. And you said about John Harbaugh. Let me say this: if the Giants continue to draft well, and like you said, Harbaugh cleans house. If he really cleans house on that Giants front staff and implements his front office, you're going to start to see success with that Giants team. And I'm not saying they're going to be the top of the division, but that Giants team is going to be a good team. The same way that I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a scenario. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But honestly, I just think that Harbaugh will come in and like Amir said, in a couple, it's not gonna be instantly because I still think that although the Eagles don't have an offensive coordinator, they still do have a pretty good team that can compete for first place. Then what if the Cowboys they just fix that defense? They get the right defensive coordinator that can really develop those guys. Then you got to worry about the Cowboys. What if the Commanders and Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn have a bounce back year? So the NFC East is always going to be a tough division, regardless. So that's why I said
Regardless,
I think
Regardless.
the Giants still have their time to get to the top of the division. Now, in a couple years, yes, they will be good, but I don't think they're going to be at the top of the division. I just think they'll be competing for the top of the division. But if they do get to the top
NFC
of the
North. They'll
division,
be like the NFC North.
that's good for them. But honestly, in a few years, and if everything pans out correctly, because if you look at the trajectory of all the teams in NFC East, it's really aside from the Eagles, a lot of these teams have bright futures. Look, the
Dallas
Commanders.
got the brightest.
Yeah,
Like,
the Dallas, you got draft picks, you got cap space. All you gotta do is just get the right coaching staff on the defense. The Giants, we just basically spoke about the Giants. The Commanders, you keep building around Daniels, and you get Daniels a healthy Daniels back, and don't rush him from injury, and really let Dan Quinn get to work with that defense again. Honestly, I think we get the same Washington team we saw last year, and I'm not counting Washington out just yet because they had a bolster of injuries from that offense to the defense to even Jaden Daniels.
yeah, you
And
can't count them out. Jaden Daniels is
Nah,
still that guy. He was just hurt this year. And
that's it.
I think they're gonna come back swinging, trying to prove a point. I didn't mean to cut you off, Deuce, but yeah, keep going
No,
with
you're
your
right.
state.
But yeah, I was basically just saying, basically, like just to wrap that up, I just think honestly the NFC East is on a trajectory of positive more than negative. And for the Eagles side of things, look, I say the Eagles don't have the brightest future, and it's only because of this, bro. You gotta look at it like the Eagles.
Poop,
They're finna lose AJ Brown. I'm
of
already knowing
course,
that
Oh
they're finna
yeah,
lose
oh
AJ
yeah.
Brown,
of
and
course.
It's
you're
just a
finna see
matter
a
of
lot of
when.
players. You're
It's just
finna
a
see a
matter of
lot of
when.
players on that team from the Eagles this year start to leave because players are unhappy. It's not just AJ Brown in that locker room that's unhappy. It's more players, and with all the current offensive changes and the what's called offensive systems, that plays a role. If you can never get locked onto an offensive play calling system and you're constantly having to learn a new system, that's going to show in your QB play. If you're constantly having a new play caller, that's what we saw this year with Jalen Hurts and that offense. It did not look the same. If that happens again next year and they don't get the right play calling, we're going to see the same thing of like we saw this year. And I'm gonna say this: the only reason the Eagles are going to be able to compete is because they just have good players on that team that
That's
can work
it.
with the
They
system.
got
That's
studs
it.
all over the field on that side on both sides of the ball. Two,
Both literally.
they got studs all over the field. That's the only reason they're going to compete just off straight Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. But Jalen Hurts is poop. We gotta figure
I
it
said
out.
I said this. Look, even though when they made the Super Bowl a couple years ago, when they lost to the Chiefs the first time, I said this. Yes, Jalen Hurts, and it was a time where people were saying, "Yeah, Jalen Hurts is better than Dak and all this." And I said this. Look
I
who's
died on that
around.
hill.
I said,
Ooh,
look, and that's what I'm saying. I'm coming back to this because I died on that hill that Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. And whoever is
thank you.
watching, I don't care whatever y'all's opinion is, bro. Look who is around Jalen Hurts each year, and then look. That's all you need to do, bro. You can for the 49ers. People say, "Oh, Brock Purdy has that system." God damn it, Jalen Hurts has the same system with players all around him, bro. You got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Each year he has a good running back. When they had DeAndre Swift, he was I believe a top 10 running back the year they
He had
got him from the
1,000 yards
Bears.
that year. Yeah,
So
Talk
that's
about
what
it,
I'm just
Deuce.
saying. So the Eagles have
Talk about
constantly
it.
always had a good offensive line, a great defense, and players around Jalen Hurts. So I don't care that if you want to say Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback. No, look what Dak has had to face through. You know,
Man.
since he hasn't made it through to a Super Bowl. You can have that, bro. I don't care. If Dak had that team Jalen Hurts had, I guarantee you Dak would be in the Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowls.
You
Super Bowl.
seen the
Super Bowl,
offense.
yes.
plural.
You seen the offense that Dak
Plurals.
had. I'm
Plural.
telling you this, Jalen. It's debatable that the Eagles have more weapons, honestly, and it's really debatable. I think the Cowboys did better with less weapons this year and last year with Dak Prescott than Jalen Hurts, and that's my opinion.
If really we want to compare it, Dak has a worse O line. He definitely has the better wide receiver core. CD Lamb and George Pickens, dogs.
Top. Yep.
Tight end, it's really going to Philly when we're talking about tight end and the running back. You got Saquon Barkley. We're not even going to even sit here and try to even discuss that. Dak has less weapons on both sides of the ball, and he's always performing better than Jalen Hurts.
And,
We're
and
not going to
speaking
go in.
And like really, just speaking of that, Javonte Williams performed better than Saquon Barkley in my opinion this year. Honestly, I believe Jake Ferguson performed better than Goddard this year. So I can go on and on about players on the Cowboys offense, but like name base wise, the Eagles have name based play
That's
like name value
NIL. They
players
have
all
NIL
around,
on
bro.
their team. They
Yeah,
have
no,
they have they have name, image, and likeness on their team. That's all it is.
Philly's reign of the NFC. Look, they got their first. Look, they're the first team to get back to back in years. I
Since
bet you that
'04.
won't
Since like
happen
'04, I
again.
have to
I
say.
bet you
I
that won't
think
happen again.
I think they was the first team ever in the NFC East history to do back to back win the division.
No. The last time it happened was like I think '04. I think that was the last time it happened.
Okay, but yeah, Philly's frauds. We're not gonna get too much
Yeah,
into
no.
Philly, but
I
the
wanted to get
draft. Go
I
for it.
I wanted to get my 2 cents in on Jalen Hurts, but y'all hit it on the point. To be honest, Jalen Hurts, because here's my theory and my thought process. I said last year, a lot of people called me out for this. I said Jaden Daniels was going to be a dog. I told everybody coming out of LSU, I paid attention to him. I'm like, yo, y'all not really paying attention to Jaden Daniels, how he moving. He's really that dude. So I'm heading to this season like, okay, I saw Jalen Hurts performance in the Super Bowl. I prefer Patrick Mahomes once again because of the defense and Cooper DeJean. I'm like, you know what? I'll give Jalen Hurts the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to say this, but you know what? Maybe I had a good take with Jaden Daniels. Maybe something come out of this. That's what happens when you give a bird too much food. It inflates and it dies. That's the problem. That I put too much bird seed in them Candom birds plates. That's the problem. I put too much bird seed, and then what you're gonna do? First down, run. Second down, run. Third down, streak pass to AJ Brown, incomplete, punt. That's all it is. And I want to point out something as well before we get to our NFL draft. Deuce, Mir, I want to say this. Look at Dak's field generating compared to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts does not control the field like Dak does. How Dak controls the field, he telling everybody, move around, motion, stay. Oh, yeah, come, Fergie, come. Jalen Hurts ain't doing that.
Jalen Hurts gonna go take off and scramble. That's what he's gonna go do.
Take off and scramble.
He gonna see a defense he ain't recognizing. Like, oh, you know what the time it is. Get out my way. I'm running this.
Kill.
Everybody running streak, and I'm running the ball. Dak Prescott has a future as an offensive coordinator once he's done in the league. That's all I'm gonna say. But on to the draft. What's his name? Dante Moore not declaring. It shakes up the draft a little bit. It does. It does.
I wish Ben was here.
If Dante Moore not declaring, it shakes it up. Like, who you gonna go get? Carson Beck? What are the Jets doing in this situation? Do you stick with Justin Fields one more year? Like, what do you do here? Me personally, it just kind of eliminates Caleb Downs coming all the way down to 12th to us. That just kind of kills it for me.
I think Downs goes to the Jets now. Honestly, I think Downs goes
to
the Jets.
Or do you think that?
I don't think he goes to the Cowboys, but I think he's going to go in the top 5. I think Downs is going to go in the top 5.
You know what? I think
Downs would have dropped to 12, but now that Moore is not staying, I think Downs is going to go earlier.
You know what I really think? After watching that Miami game, that was a great game. Great
game.
I think Ruben Bain could find his way in a Jets jersey. The way the whole game.
That's not a crazy take.
The whole game outside of Malachi Tony. My eyes was on Ruben Bain. And the way, bro, he was so dominant that game, they couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop him one-on-one. I think Ruben Bain could go to the Jets, but at the end of the day, I don't know what the Jets do here. Do you give Justin Fields 1 more year? I don't know what you do here.
Honestly, me personally, and I'm sorry, Ben, if you're watching this or whenever you see this. Look, Justin Fields, like, I feel like they screwed him, but I feel like it's just getting to the point in time where Justin Fields is starting to get older as a quarterback, and you need to get a younger quarterback. And we can keep saying more and more about Justin Fields on how they've screwed him. Like, and honestly, they have. The Bears did him dirty, the Steelers did him dirty, the Jets. I mean, injuries left and right, and he got hurt left and right. So I mean, it wasn't like in the best favor for him, but I mean, as you keep progressing, I think you keep if I'm the Jets, you keep Justin Fields on the roster, but you start to I would draft a quarterback in the later rounds, maybe to compete
Justin
for the starting
Fields is
role.
only 26. He's only 26.
But I mean, this is my thing though. And you can also say, because people look at Darnold, look at Sam Darnold, for instance.
It's all about the system.
It's all about the system. So I'm not saying it's too late to give up on Justin Fields yet, but for the Jets, team in general, you need a quarterback that's young that you can actually build around. You cannot make a system if you keep changing quarterbacks every year. It's just not going to work.
But my thing is, you go back to week 1 and we saw that performance from Justin.
He performed his butt off. That was a great game he had.
That was a great game.
And that's why I say you keep him. That's why I say you keep him on the roster, because look, we've seen the flashes and we've seen what he's done, but at the same time, you need to go out and draft a young quarterback in the hopes, I'm not saying a top quarterback, but maybe in the later rounds, in the hopes that he can just back up Justin Fields for 1 more year. And look, hey, if this young quarterback does break out, he does break out and eventually does take the starting role. But eventually, we all know that next year's draft class, the quarterback draft class is better than this year, because we know this year is a weak quarterback class. So if
It's all
I'm the
about defense
Jets,
this year. It's all
if
about
I'm the
defense.
Jets, I take a defensive player. You continue to build. You continue to add more offensive pieces and offensive tools. Maybe go and get a couple of linemen. Go get you a. There's going to be quarterbacks in the later rounds. Like in the later rounds. Look, hey, what you call it? Pavaya, I believe Diego Pavaya just declared for the draft. He's going to go in the later
Hmm.
rounds. We know that for a fact. You can go pick him up and just put him on the bench and play him as a.
My
I'm
thing
not a.
about My thing about him, he's the same age as Justin Fields. People don't know Diego has been in college for 6 years. He's 24.
Hmm.
He's old. So if he gets drafted, it's gonna be like a Carson Beck thing. It's like, oh yeah, he got drafted for what he did in college, but he's not gonna get a real shot. But I agree
It's
with
like
you.
Quinn Ewers as well. It's like Quinn Ewers as well.
I agree with you. I think this year you wait, you just pump the brakes, you tank one more year. They got
The Jets are
and
in a
then
weird predicament. I mean, the way they've ran the program, the organization, the last 5 years has put them in this situation. You put all that
Aaron
money into
Rodgers.
Rodgers, people that Aaron Rodgers wanted,
the
and it
Green
didn't
Bay
pan.
Jets.
Yeah, and it didn't pan out how you want it. And look at it now. You got to pay. Now you got to fix it. You got the good thing for the Jets, so they have draft picks.
Oh yeah, they
They
got
got
so much capital. That's
yes,
when they traded Sauce and Quentin Williams. When they got what they 3 draft picks, what they got 4 3 now
they got like
from
four.
just them 2 guys. They got I think they got 5 draft picks in the next 2 years. If you somehow manage to miss on all 5 of those picks,
You
you're just
cursed.
destined to be trash.
You're just
There's
cursed.
nothing else to
You're
it.
just cursed, bro.
Like you just cursed at that point in time. But the Jets, I feel like you keep Aaron Glenn, clear house. You clear house under everybody. You get a new offense coordinator, get a new defense coordinator. Maybe
You need it.
you don't
You
even
need
need
it.
it.
No. Because my thing is, and I know it's the players that are on the field, but you can't get one pick in 17 weeks.
Yes,
Nah, I'm saying that's
That's
crazy.
inexcusable.
That's inexcusable.
That's
and I think Aaron Glenn,
inexcusable.
if he's not hands on that defense, he needs to be more hands on that
He
defense because
needs to be.
he's a defensive specialist. He can fix
Exact.
that defense. I
You
just think
saw
he
what he
needs
He's a
to
did in
get
Dan
more.
Quinn type
Detroit.
of QB. He's a
Yes,
Dan
You
Quinn
saw.
type of QB.
he just needs to take more control of that defense if he's already not doing that. If he isn't, I don't know.
There's a lot of great defensive guys coming out in this coaching carousel. And as Dallas fans, we've been looking. You got Blind Flores. I don't think he's going to come back to a defensive coordinator job. He might just go to Buffalo. He just might. He's
I do
he.
got a question. You got
Let's go.
something real? You can finish your thing real quick, man, and then I ask it.
Brian Flores this year is Ben Johnson's of last year. Everybody wanted
Yes.
Ben Johnson on the team. No matter what, you could have the best offense over Detroit, and you still wanted Ben Johnson on your team. The Bears
I
was lucky
want.
enough to get him. Go ahead.
That's the thing, though, and you heard me say this. I want Brian Flores, but he's gonna gun for that head coaching job, just like. And I'm not comparing him to the previous defensive coaches that went to head coaches. I'm not comparing because we know how Matt Patricia thing went down in Detroit back
Yeah.
in like 2016. We know how that went down. So I'm not saying it's gonna end up like that, but if you can somehow control the locker room, I know that it's your first season, and it's like comparing apples and oranges to Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn to where they're at with their system. But with Aaron Glenn, he needs. I don't know what they need on defense, but you need some form of structure. I'm sorry, like I said, 17 games, 0 picks is inexcusable. You can't stop a team on. You can't stop a team on a third down. You played so well in the first game. What happened? Because we all were thinking, oh snap, the Jets might have lost. But we see something shake in MetLife. We see something shake in the Meadowlands. So I'm assuming this was all our thought process. Oh, this is a Jets team. We can't play around with them this year. We can't play around. This is a serious Jets team, and then progresses to lose and be the same old Jets that we know. So they're going to rely heavily, if not crucially, on the NFL draft. Because if they don't get those picks in, if they don't make the correct picks, if they don't get those correct picks going, then it's going to be a long 2020s decade for them. Going into 2030 is going to be long.
Man, if the Jets, I feel like it's going to be hard for the Jets to be trash for much longer. You got all these picks. You're going to draft. You're destined
have
to
the
draft the
capital.
first.
Like
You
you
have.
and Deuce said, y'all, they have the capital. They just need to draft well. That's it. You just need to draft well. That's it. That's
I
logically
do got
it.
a question though. What do y'all think about Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs? Look, the Chiefs are in need of a running back. Pacheco hasn't panned out. Clyde Edwards or Hilaire definitely didn't pan out how we wanted. But
I don't
look,
even think he on the team no more.
yeah, Jeremiah Love, you can get a top running back out of college who's still young that can be right next. If people are saying Patrick Mahomes will be back next year, I think he'll be back around mid-season. Patrick Mahomes, you get
No,
another weapon because
bro,
look, I
bro. He's
honestly, I
already
think Kelsey,
rehabbing.
and I think
He's
Kelsey.
already
Look, Kelsey
rehabbing.
got if Kelsey not retiring this year, he got a year left. So look, it's
Oh,
time for Mahomes to get that next new weapon, that next dynamic number 2 weapon that he needs next to him. I wouldn't be opposed to having Love on the Chiefs.
My thing was this: I've done a lot of mock drafts, and Ruben Bain or Jeremiah Love has consistently landed on the Chiefs. So either way, if you get one of those two guys, they're automatically dangerous again once they get Mahomes. They're going to be dangerous. Any team is going to be dangerous with Mahomes, but if you get Ruben Bain to really help Chris Jones out on that defensive side and give him a top 5 pass rush, or you get Jeremiah Love and actually give a Chiefs run game. When was the last time they had a run game since Jamal Charles? Like they haven't
Kareem
had.
Hunt, Kareem Hunt, and well, before the whole incident happened.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Kareem Hunt. I forgot about Kareem Hunt. He had like 2 years before the thing happened, but I mean it's been a while since they had a run game. You give the Chiefs a run game, and maybe you pick up a great slot receiver in the third, fourth round. The Chiefs they right back in the bowl, and I think that's just going to be a problem if they don't get Jeremiah Love this year. Like we said, they're going to tank for Jeremiah Smith. It's something about these Jeremiahs,
I
so
can't.
that's what's going to happen. But right now, my pick for the Cowboys is going to be Sonny Styles landing to us. Sonny
No.
Styles. Me personally, I think Sonny Styles is better than Arvell Reese. I think Arvell Reese is getting the what's another guy that had a freak? He was like a freak on paper, but he was just trash on field. Taylor Mays. Taylor Mays was like 6'5". He ran like a
That's a good
4.
comparison.
He
That's
ran like a
solid comparison.
4-4. He was a safety though, but Arvell Reese, he's a linebacker. Taylor Mays is a safety. They have the same measurables, 6'5", 240. I think Taylor Mays was a little slower at 4'6", 4'5". Arvell Reese runs a 4'4". He could play edge on paper. Oh, he could do it all. He's a Swiss Army knife. He could play linebacker. He could play edge. He could rush the pass. He could guard the pass on paper. Yeah, but I was watching that last game against Miami, and Sonny Styles looked great. He was guarded. And one thing about the
Go ahead.
Cowboys, we need run defense, but we also need to stop the pass. Like we got to be able to stop the pass.
I would, in my personal opinion, I think towards the latter part of this season, I think because
No, we need DBs, MJ.
I know
Oh,
that.
you
No,
a
no, no.
Cowboys
Hear me
fan too,
listen.
Deuce?
Yeah, I'm a Cowboys
Oh,
fan.
right,
No,
okay.
listen to me. Hear me out.
MJ,
Listen, no,
we
listen,
need
listen.
MJ,
I know, no,
we
listen to
need
me.
DBs now.
No, Tamir knows the point I'm about to make. Tamir knows what point I'm about to make. Because I've said this since the jump. Get rid of Deron Bland. We have a good get rid of Deron Bland.
Moving back to the slot.
And restructure his contract too.
That's the or that. I'm not
We
mad
paid
at
him
either.
too. We paid him too early, bro. We paid him
That's
too
cool.
early. He got
Thank
hurt.
you. No,
Prove Jerry's point, basically.
But my thing is Donovan Wilson at the safety. I've liked Donovan Wilson at the safety position. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. He's given up plays, but he's shown effective on those crucial third downs that we needed him in. So I will honestly, yes, keep Donovan Wilson in the third down, keep him in the safety position. But as far as our run defense, I think we just need linebackers. We need a good linebacker. Because every good Dallas team has had a good linebacker. Leighton Vander Esch, Sean Lee, Jalen Brown.
Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith, thank you. Jalen Smith. I'm not playing the basketball player. No. No. Yes, we've always had great linebackers. So I think Tamir make a valid point with Jeremiah Smith. You make a valid point with that. So I think me personally, I think we should go linebacker and if I don't think he is that Indiana linebacker. Oh my gosh. I've said it. I preached it from the mountain walls back. If we get Isaiah, I think it's either Isaiah Jones. Oh my god, because oh my gosh, I think that's his name, Isaiah Jones. Lord have mercy. From Indiana. If he's declared for the draft, I don't think he declared for the draft yet because shockingly, a lot of players have not declared for the draft yet. Not a lot of players have declared for the draft, which is shocking, in my personal.
But with the players we do know, until they could declare the draft, I think the best selection for us, unless somehow some way Caleb Downs falls into the safety trap and he keeps dropping, like
I'll be shocked.
like
I'll be
Kyle
shocked.
Hamilton did a couple years ago. fell to
Yo.
Baltimore's hand. Now he's the
Yo.
sole bright spot on that
Yo.
defense. So unless that
Yo.
happens to what's his name, Caleb Downs, and he falls to Dallas, we gotta start looking at linebackers. We gotta build from the D line up.
We have
So
to.
my thing is this: we get Sonny Styles, and then or Mansour Delane, and then we pick up another linebacker later in the round. What's the linebacker from Texas Tech? I
We
think
need another linebacker. We need to get rid of Kenneth Murray. Oh my god.
Yo,
Oh, yeah, he's the
thank you.
first
Why
cut.
have
He's
we?
the first
why
cut.
have we not gotten rid
No,
of
he
him?
needs to be the first cut,
How?
bro. Oh my gosh, it's bad.
Dude, I can pull
I
up
watched.
film.
No, I watched him look at a person. It was against the Vikings. I watched him watch the gap, watch him run into the gap, and he
Dude.
went in the other one. I was like, "What are
Dude.
you doing, bro?"
Dude, have you seen that Denver game on 3rd down and goal? Why are you attacking the tight end on 3rd down when it's an incomplete pass? Why?
The only people, the only people I'm keeping on if I'm the Cowboys, the only two really linebackers I'm looking at next year keeping are the person Overshawn
Yes.
and Logan Wilson. Since we just traded for him, we better make use of
We
those
barely
things.
saw Logan Wilson because we wasn't
better-
really putting him in the rotation. We kept playing Kenneth Murray instead of Logan. I'm looking at I'm watching games like, yo, why is 59 on the field and not 55? Do they know something we don't? I thought we do. I thought everybody in the world knew 55 or not 55. 59 was Grabber. Apparently we don't. That's why we gotta pick up Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs could play in the box. That's one thing about it. They keep saying he's generational.
He can go from the
He
safety
can play
to the
all
box.
over the field.
He can move. He can motion him. That's the thing. You can't do that with Kenneth Murray, bro.
Think of Caleb Williams like maybe a smaller Jamal Adams, somebody that can move from the secondary.
You know what's crazy?
We need somebody like that.
The last safety drafted in the top 10 was Jamal Adams. You know where he went to? The Jets. So, you know what I mean? Jamal Adams was a great player until, I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened in Seattle. I do not know what
I
happened
don't know.
in Seattle.
I don't know what happened to Jamal Adams, but he was a great player until he got traded or he signed to Seattle, and then it is what it is. But if Caleb Downs does fall to Dallas, everybody in this call right now knows it's gonna get real scary. If we pick up the right defense coordinator, obviously Jim Leonard, Brian Flores, that's the pipe dream, like Caleb Downs. A lot of things got to go right for us to pick those two guys up at once. But if we do, I feel like at this point is make it or break it. It's put up or shut up for Dallas for these next 2 years. 3 years, we got 3 years to really put up or shut up. After that, we're looking at darkness for a couple of years.
I want the ball in Dak's hands.
Because Dak is 32. He's turning 33 next year. We don't got a lot of years yet.
He's in his 11th season. I want Dak to get one with us. Because Jason Witten didn't get one with us. DeMarcus Ware didn't get one with us. Sean Lee didn't get one with us. Des Bryant didn't get one with us. Cole Beasley didn't get one with us.
DeMarcus Lawrence left us because he couldn't get one with us.
And he's about to get one in Seattle. He's about to get one in Seattle. Bro, oh my gosh, I'm listing off all these players that are potential Hall of Famers that didn't get one with us. DB is Des Bryant. Yeah, I know.
Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah, I was about to say Cole Beasley.
Nah. But we're listing all these players that came out of Dallas that made an impact for us in our childhoods. They didn't get one in which they should have got one. They should have gotten one.
2014 was our best. We
can end this call right now. I'm getting PTSD already. We can end this call, but Dak needs one. Because more than ever, I want the ball in Dak's hands. I trust Dak. He's gonna throw his every game pick. Obviously, he's gonna throw his every game pick. But
I think he's growing out that phase. That was 2-3 years ago when he first came off that broken leg after he stepped on that landmine.
And that's why I've been telling people every year that Dak has had a bad season. Look at the previous year; he was hurt. But when he has a full season, when he's not hurt, look what happens. He has seasons like this. The season like he had in 2023 when he was in the MVP race.
He should have won that year.
I agree.
He should have won that year. But it is what it is. I really think we bring in Al Harris or Jim Leonard. We change the team. I really think we want Al Harris.
Bring him back, bro.
We need back. He should have been the defensive coordinator from the jump.
Based off how you saw when Al Harris was the guys already love Al Harris. A lot of the guys
you saw what he did with the linebackers. You saw what he did. Like, come on.
Not the linebackers, the DBs. Trayvon had 11 picks. Deron Blade had 10 picks with him, 5 pick sixes. He elevated the DBs. Linebackers, we could get if we just get a solid linebacker coach, we'll be okay with the linebackers. We just got to get a good linebacker outside of Overshown. Overshown's our Swiss Army knife. If we get
he
a
can't do it everything. That's the thing. Agent Zero can't do everything, bro.
and I feel like he rushed back from his injury. So once we
Just
get a
for us.
really, once he gets a
Just for
really,
us.
when we get a really healthy Overshown, a healthy Josh Butler. I don't know what these people on TikTok are seeing with Josh Butler. They know something I don't because they keep saying, "Oh, he's gonna help us win." Sure, I guess we need. I just don't know what Josh Butler's doing for us, but if we get, like I said, we get a linebacker and Mansour Delane, we're solid. Caleb Downs is obviously the dream pick because he basically is a linebacker. If we want to be honest, he basically is both of our needs. He can play. He's going to help with coverage and he's going to help with the run.
Because that's the thing, we're perfect on offense. We're great on offense right now. Maybe a wide receiver 3 because I don't. No, actually, that's a lie. Because what's number 19? Who's number 19 on Dallas?
Ryan Flanoy.
Yo, he showed up this season. I would say he's a good wide receiver 3. But all we really realistically need to worry about defense. That's realistically what we need to worry about this draft, because we draft past has shown we do draft well. So I think honestly, if we draft well this year, if nothing happens, we build up our players, we get a new defensive coordinator, we do everything right this season, we're always going to be in contention for the division. I just want us to be in contention for an NFC championship. That's it. I just want us to be in contention for an NFC championship.
And this is my last point I'm gonna make. This year, we've shown that we can win big games with this offense and with Brian Shine having.
And you could put the ball in Dak's hands. Because many people say you can't put the ball in Dak's
when
hands
it was
in
time.
crunch time.
After that Detroit game, it kind of went downhill. But when it was when it was like, okay, Dallas needs to start winning right now, ASAP, no Rocky. What did we do? Came back 21-0 against Philly. Then we hosted the Chiefs and beat them.
On Thanksgiving,
we shown we can win big games. So if we get into a big game situation, it's not like, oh man, is Dak going to Dak it up?
I trust Dak.
I trust Dak now, but that was my last point of this episode. That was my last little thing I had to get off. But yeah, if we get the right if we get the right pieces on defense, we're gonna be looking like the Bears. We're straight.
Well, I'm just basically gonna say this before we close this out, because look, we started off with 5 of us, and we are finishing with 3 of us. Adam and Ben had to go, but they are in this episode, so don't get that twisted. But I will say this: the Cowboys, with the right defensive coach and the right linebackers, I honestly think they're a team to compete for in the NFC.
We have everything. We have the pieces. We have the juice. It's just the defense. That's it. Once we get that defense, and once that gets back next season, we can do this. I firmly believe we can do this.
CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens with another year around them. Oh my goodness, it's gonna get scary. And then CeeDee Lamb healthy for a whole season. We might see Dak Prescott put up 5,000 yards. We will. We might see Dak Prescott do something freaky. We might see
run it back.
Agree. I think if that does happen, we're going to see some records broken. We're going to see some records.
And hopefully Javonte Williams fixes his shoulder injuries, because at the tail end of the season, he run hard. He run like Pacheco.
Yeah, he always like to run lower that shoulder.
So hopefully he fixes it, wears some bigger shoulder pads. Hopefully if he stays healthy and plays the way he did, we should be all right. We saw a little surge with 43. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Blue. Malik Davis.
Malik Davis. Yeah, it was Malik Davis.
Not Blue. It's not Blue. It's not Jaden Blue.
Jaden Blue is Grabber. He doesn't like playing football apparently.
Oh my gosh! If Jaden Blue doesn't pan out, I hope Phil Maffa pans out, because we never got to see any of him.
We never got to see Phil Maffa.
That is a talk for another podcast. But look, this was the first episode, or many future collab episodes and joint episodes with Inside the Redzone with MJ and Mir. And look, I'm your co-host Deuce from Inside the Locker Room. I hope all y'all enjoyed this segment of Inside the Locker Room. I'm still trying to get this name down, man. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna get the name down in a minute.
Isn't it inside the
hold up. Inside the locker room, live from the Redzone.
Okay, there you go.
That's what it is.
We'll get it.
We'll get that.
But that is the title of anytime we do a joint episode with these guys, that is the title of it. And look, normally I lead the podcast, but no, I just sit back in these I just let everybody talk. But look, if you're watching this video, get both of our YouTube videos up. Look, we have high goals. Look, maybe with this video, bring us in 2 new subscribers, and let's try to aim for maybe double our views from last time, because I know each of us got different
Mm-hmm.
viewings. So look, that is our goal. But look, MJ Mir, thank y'all for joining the
Thank you,
podcast. And look,
man.
we,
Thank
we
you.
are gonna get another episode in the future. It's gonna come real soon. But
Oh yeah.
as for y'all, thank y'all for watching, and make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share, and make sure you tune into me and Michael's HBCU Sports.